Mo, how is it going, my friend?
Nilo, my brother, how are you?
Great. Welcome everyone to the official first episode of the Wrestling Hour. It's been a long time coming. Lots of talk about doing this, and we're finally here, Mo. How does it feel?
Finally, yeah, it feels great. I mean, nerves are the jitters for the ringside hour. I'm excited, brother. I am excited. Whoo, the jitters, dude. Oh man.
Absolutely, man. There's a lot to talk about. Obviously, wrestling, lots of changes. We've actually, for our viewers, we actually have stopped talking to each other about wrestling because we wanted to talk about it during the podcast. So we have a lot to go through. Obviously, we're not going to do it in 1 hour, but what I do want to lay out is kind of what our format is, right? So the Ringside Hour we're going to do is we're going to come here live on Wednesdays, and we're going to do a kind of a topic show, and then we're going to have a secondary show where we actually recap the week's events. So that's going to be our format, 2 shows a week. We'll have our times and all of that in our descriptions, as well as please do follow us on Twitter. We are at the Ringside Hour, and then we will have this posted on YouTube eventually. Please like and subscribe, as Mo said up there.
So I'm still trying to figure out the direction that I'm pointing here. Look, just I know you guys see it. Just follow the Twitter handle that's up in the corner, the top left corner.
Absolutely. And then if you want to talk about it, then obviously hashtag TRH, the Wrestling Hour. That would be great. Well, I appreciate any support. Me and Mo are doing this for fun. We love it. It's a hobby. We love wrestling. So we thought, why not talk about it and obviously get some guests here as the weeks go by. So.
Let me just state this. If you're watching us on Facebook Live right now, comment. We will see the comments and we can have a conversation with everybody out there. Looks like we got the first comment. Shout out to Q, brother Q out there, supporting us from the get-go. So yes, sir, we are live finally. We're doing it.
Appreciate it, Q. Appreciate the support. So let's get right into it, right? So I want to first start kind of how this podcast was created, right? So the creation of this podcast. So Mo, I'll let you start it off, and then I'll piggyback off what you say in terms of the origins of this.
Okay. Pretty much it was a cold summer day. I said, Nilo, let's start a podcast. And the podcast was born. No, on a serious note, we pretty much, we've been talking about it for ages. And up until probably, I would say it was during the pandemic, we realized we had a lot to talk about. And from friends to whoever, they will always tell us, go ahead, start a podcast. So I shout outs to Julio, my friend. He opened me to the world of the podcast world, and started a wrestling show with him. And from there, we branched out, and we was finally able to go ahead and get ours up and running.
Absolutely. In the age of podcasting, right? Everybody's got a podcast now. We said, why not us? We let's join in on the fun a little bit. But me and Mo, we've known each other for a long time. I think we're going on almost 10 years of knowing each other.
That's it.
I know it seems like much longer.
Oh wow, yeah.
No, so we've always talked about wrestling, loved wrestling. We've gone to a couple shows together. Some crazy stories about that. We'll talk about it at later dates. But yeah, so we said, why not start it?
Survivor Series. Right.
That became an expensive weekend. But anyways.
It was my birthday weekend too. So shout outs.
That was your birthday present.
Shout outs to me being born during that time period of Survivor Series.
We might as well just say a story now. So whatever. All right. So what happened was it was Mo's birthday, and we got him a gift to go to Survivor Series. So we decided to do that.
Right here in Chicago.
Yes, in Chicago. And Mo. So we get there, right? And seats looked good from where I saw it. I picked them out. They're good. I was like, these are going to be some great seats. They're off to the right side of the stage. But before we did that, we went to the top. It was at the United Center. We went up to the top where the bar section is, just to kind of overview and see the whole stage. And then we would take a look at where our seats are, and they're up there. And there's no bad seats at the UC, especially for when WWE's there. But I'm looking at it, and it's pretty backed up to where the stage and the lights are. So we walk over there, and it's like, all right, well, we can't see the entrances. This sucks. So
we were behind the Titantron.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, it was behind the stage. Right. And I didn't want to complain. I mean, it was a gift. I wasn't gonna be that person. But deep down, I was talking a lot of smack. I was like, did he not check the seat view before?
That's the thing. The seat view made it seem like you're going to be right there to the right. I was like, all right, cool. These seats are good. But then, so we go back up to the bar area and jump on StubHub and say, let's just check it out. What are seats going for right now? And then from that point on till the start of the show, about 10 minutes in, we just saw the prices go down and down and down and down. Eventually, we found pretty much ringside seats for, I think it was like $90 or something a piece.
Yeah.
And this was 10 minutes into the show, so we watched the first couple matches from the top. We got the tickets immediately, bought them, so we ended up buying 4 tickets for one show. So
it was worth it, though. I mean, come on now, it was a pay-per-view.
Absolutely,
it worked out in our favor.
It was great.
Some great seats as well.
The pyro, though, that pretty much almost took our eardrums out. But
if anyone, okay, so anybody who has not gone to a WWE show, the pyro, the fireworks, or whatever you want to call them, it's loud. I don't care where you're at in the arena, it's loud. You feel it. Your ears feel it. They pop. It's annoying as ever. We were right there. Exactly. I don't know how many times I look, Nilo, how many times did I scream?
That's what I'm saying. We're both like, and we know, you kind of know the stars that are going to get the pyro. So like when Brock came out, me and him are just like gearing up next to each other, and we're like,
yeah, I had to grab Nilo. I was scared. I was like, dang, dude. I was like,
no, but
the random guy next to me, we're like, we're both looking at each other. I was like, look, you got me, I got you. Like we're in this together right now.
The one that made us pop was Rey Mysterio. He gets in the ring. We didn't know that he had another firework thing. So we thought we got past the first one. We're good. So we're relaxed. We're chilling, watching Rey go up to the second turnbuckle, puts his hands out. As soon as he puts his hands out, it goes bam. And me and him were just like, whoa.
Look, I think the production crew, whoever was handling the pyro, mixed their cue. And then once Rey was in the ring, he's like, oh, snap. And then he pressed it. Like, and then the stuff just went off.
No, but it was great. Great seats. Loved it. It was the best show I've been to. So we committed. We're going to go to the Big Four throughout our lifetime. So we've been to Survivor Series. We got to go to Royal Rumble. Got to go to WrestleMania. And then we got to go to SummerSlam at some point. So 3 more to go. Hopefully after this pandemic goes, we can go and be live. But
absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
So let's keep it moving here to the next topic. So what I want to do is Mo, kind of in the sense of us talking about our history. I want to know your history. So when did your love of wrestling begin? When did you get into it?
Oh, man. It was around 98, 99. Yeah, around that time frame. I was watching, I think I came across WWE Raw or WWF at the time. Raw as Warzone as it was. Yeah, those two shows combined together. And I remember seeing Shawn Michaels and just being excited and hooked on the entrance music. It was something about his entrance music that I loved. And I started watching it, and I'm amazed by what I'm seeing on the screen. I remember Undertaker, The Rock, those lines. And then it was the pay-per-view was the Royal Rumble, which was it tied into when I really, really was hooked on it. It was the 2000 Royal Rumble. that was when I got hooked. You know, you had what was it? The street fight between Triple H and Mick Foley. The concept of the Royal Rumble period excited me, and ever since then, man, I was hooked. The beauty of all of this is I found out my grandmother was a wrestling fan. So, when I told her about it, now she wasn't into the new age, but she was familiar with, you know, back in the day, the Gorgeous Georges and the Ric Flairs and all of them. So we bonded even more over that. And my first event that I went to was SmackDown. I went with my grandma.
Oh, that's cute.
I know. So that was a moment. Now, you know, no matter what it was, no matter what event you go to, your grandparents will find a way to take a nap. And I remember being super excited during this. And you know, it was a 2-hour show.
Yep.
By the second hour, my grandma was just in the seat, just taking a nap. So look, she'll open her eyes, you know, when the music starts,
right,
and then go right back to taking her nap. And then right after the show, she was like, "That was awesome, baby." I was like, "Well, you slept through most of the show." But, you know, that just continued, man. She would rent the movies. You know, back then you could rent VHSs. So we'd go to Family Video. I think that was the name. And we would rent a lot of the old school tapes, and I would watch them with her. So yeah, shout outs to Big Mama.
Absolutely. Big shout outs. Before I go to mine, I do want to give some shout outs here. We got a lot of people on the chat. Great to see the support. Thank you all. So shout out to, we see Miss Linda Ramirez out there, Mr. Steven Mazur, Q giving us support as always.
Stevie.
Yeah, Miss Keisha Thompson, long time no talk. Thank you for the support. Mr. Wheelie Wheels. Yep. And just joined Mr. Greg Moradian. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. There we go.
Moradian. Greg Moradian. Went to high school with him.
There you go. Appreciate the support, guys.
Austin 316, baby. That's right.
So actually, me too. Around the same time. So Attitude Era is when I got into it. I just remember being at my my uncle's house, and he may or may not had a box that may or may not have been legal. But
okay to talk about it now. Look, the statute of limitations have passed.
Right. It's
we had that box. For that cable, you got cable, you know, for a discount.
Right. So he's watching some pay-per-views, watching some WWE, and I see our WWF at the time, and I see Austin driving that his truck with the Austin 316 logo on the hood. Came in, started wrestling. I'm like, what is this? And I started watching it. Then you see The Rock come out. You see a bunch of these wrestlers. I'm like, instantly hooked. And then from there on out, it was everything. I went through the whole. I was a kid doing the action figures. I had the ring. I had the Titantron. I had the
the Titantron.
The Cell, everything. I went all out. So even made my own little belts and stuff. It was I went pretty fan.
Hey, did you wrestle your brothers?
We did. We had the championship titles. We one specific time where I was wrestling with my brother upstairs, and I was trying to pick him up, and he was bigger than me at the time, so I pick him up and I fall backwards, and we fall onto. We had these window closet doors, fall into glass everywhere, and my dad comes up, and me and him were just like have that shock and awe face, like, oh crap, and then he's like, all right, well, that vacation's canceled. We just started.
Yeah. But I think we all have those moments where we might have gone a little too far and it scared the hell out of us. I know I've had a few with my buddies back then. I remember one time at the YMCA. Okay. I don't know if he's watching. Look, I'm gonna send him the video after this. I want him to see this. My boy Richard. We was at the YMCA and we got into it, you know, with some other kids there. And back then, everybody was just, you know, wrestling. I remember there was a table, and he put a mat on top of the table and decided he's going to powerbomb this little kid. And the table broke. And now, remember those blue mats, you know, like you have in gym and all this. So he had them there.
Right.
And the force, he used so much force that either the table was already on his last leg or whatever the case may be, or it had I don't know, it broke. Only thing I could do was just run. So I was like, look, dude, I am not about to get kicked out of the YMCA. Like, no. And I think the kid survived. I'm pretty sure he did.
Right.
So that went a little too far. That went a little too far.
It always does. But no, and then very similar. It's funny you say that. Family Video and Blockbuster went there, and that's how I fell in love with Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, my all-time favorite pay-per-view, WrestleMania 10 with Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, the ladder match. That's how I got into the old school wrestling and just started kind of being a history buff with all of that. So, and then eventually dabbed into WCW, ECW, and all that. So, we got some on the chat. Deontay saying WCW, ECW too. And then 30-year fan, Mr. Deontay King Ford. That's impressive. Actually, that would
wait 30 years.
Dude, actually,
how old are you? Didn't we went to school together? Like I'm 32, so I guess he started when he was 2 years old.
Right, exactly.
Fresh out of the womb. Out of the womb, sticking middle fingers up. Oh no, that was 30 years, so Stone Cold wasn't around.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I see some chats in terms of people putting their favorite wrestlers. We got Bret Hart, we got Shawn Michaels, we got Undertaker. We're actually do a topic.
Bret Hart died?
No, he didn't die.
Oh, okay. Greg, he's still alive.
Wrestling wise, yeah. But no, we're actually going to do a topic of wrestlers in the weeks to come. So look out for that show. We'll do some topics on that stuff. So, but let's move on to actual the wrestling, right? So let's talk about the state of wrestling, right? Where we're at this point in time. What's going on. I want to go through the three major brands, right? So I want to go through WWE, AEW, and actually I shouldn't call it a major brand. It just came to the spotlight right now with Impact. But I want to go through those each and see kind of what's going on and get your take on everything. So we'll start with WWE, right? So TLC just wrapped up this Sunday. We also had the show after with Raw. So just general overview. What were your thoughts of TLC?
It was a pretty solid pay-per-view. I mean, it's always exciting when you bring in some tables, some ladders, and you put people wait, I said it wrong. It's always fun when you had the chairs, the ladders, and you put people through tables. So it was a pretty solid pay-per-view. Some matches or some wrestlers that stood out to me definitely was Big E. With that tag team match that was huge, that Hurt Business winning the championship, and of course that Inferno match.
Yeah, that was something else. I like the production value. That was pretty good. You saw at the end, I was laughing because so when Randy's dousing the Fiend with the gasoline, you still see kind of the human portion of it. And they kept cutting closer to Randy's face, and it kept cutting back to Bray. And I'm like, at what point are they going to put the dummy in or the puppet thing? And then right at the end, before he lights it, you could see the Fiend's hands are like just gloves. And
yeah.
So like, all right, there we go. He's gone.
The fact that it was noticeable was just funny to me.
But they kept it going.
They did. Great. I was like, oh, come on, guys. We know that is a. They went in. They dressed up a sex doll and set it on fire. Like I could tell. Like.
Right. But no, it was good. I liked a couple of things. Definitely like to see Big E. One thing I wish they would do, and then we can talk about this a little more as well, but is I want them to just bring back the prestige of that Intercontinental title. And no offense to Sami Zayn, but I feel like right now that title, and first of all, I don't like the new title. The look of it, not a fan. I know you kind of like it a little bit.
I like it. Yeah.
I'm a fan of the white one with the white strap, one that the Miz held around for a little bit, and that's the old school one as well. But I just feel like there's no prestige, no like it's
just they watered it down over the years,
and not in this current era. I feel like there's no it's not being defended on pay-per-views, right? So it wasn't even on the pre-show. That was a pre-show with Big E. It's coming up here on SmackDown, right? So it's going to be the match between Zayn and Big E. But I don't know. Do you feel the same way, or do you feel like it's still holding prestige?
Yeah, I feel that way with every title, honestly. You look at the legends out there. You have the Stone Colds, the Rocks, whoever you want to call your favorite wrestler.
Right.
Look at how many times they've been the champion.
Right.
Majority of them are single digit, 5 times, 6 times, whatever the case may be. It was something I remember watching as a little kid that The Rock made history when he became a 5th time world champion. But then you fast forward, and outside of back Ric Flair in his day, 16 times. But as far as modern day title reigns, The Rock was the one setting the record with the 5th reign. Now you have these the current generation. Roman Reigns and all of them, they're 10 time and 12, 13 time whatever title, whether it's world title and so forth. And I think it changed hands. It changed hands too. I don't know, too fast. Is that the right way? I don't know. Right term.
The regular championship or the WWE or the
Intercontinental? About all the championships, because then you look at the how a lot of the wrestlers, they've been multiple champions over and over times over, and I mean, where's the value in the championship or your brand as a wrestler if you've been Intercontinental champion, 8 times or whatever the case may be, but yet you're looked at as a mid-tier wrestler. If that makes sense.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
But so in terms of some results, right? Let's go into the pay-per-view. So Styles going into that ladder match with Drew McIntyre. So one spot that got me right in the beginning, AJ was on that top turnbuckle, and it just, you see that slap on AJ, and he just falls all the way to the floor. That popped me up. That looked like it hurt. But I want to talk about Omos real quick. Almost from the big dude with AJ Styles.
Yeah.
You see how big he is? He's over 7 feet tall.
Dude is huge. When are we going to see him?
We dabbed a little bit in it when he threw his name Morrison over the rope into the table. But when you see him from that wide angle camera, you can see him on the floor, and he pretty much is at the top rope level. I'm just like, dang, it's huge. But no, solid match. Loved it. The Miz got involved. We used his money in the bank, but McIntyre gets the win there at the end. So we'll see. Apparently on Raw, I mean, we're gonna get maybe the Miz gets back the Money in the Bank contract, but that's up to see. But let's move over to Sasha Banks and Carmella. So Carmella's gotten this push since she came back as the big one in the division right now, and challenge Sasha Banks. What do you think of the Carmella angle? And since she lost now to Sasha Banks, where do you think she goes from now?
Well, I mean, I'm happy for Carmella. I mean, she's a talented wrestler, and I'm always for allowing a lot of the other talents to get their moment. So Carmella is definitely, I feel, is in that realm now where she's able to really show what she has and possibly get back into that championship era again, because she had the title once, right? Yeah. So I mean, I think they should stick with it, get her going as far as challenging some challenging more for it. But I think that's going to lead to a Royal Rumble win, which would then get her up for her WrestleMania moment.
True. The women's division just needs some blood, some new blood in there, and NXT is doing a good job of getting that going. But I don't know if you agree with me or not, but the women's division in WWE in general,
they've lost their momentum, from what they had a few years ago, a couple years back. I feel like everything is tied into like one big old storyline for the entire division.
Right.
And that's not good. That's really not good. So they need an overhaul. Yeah.
Agreed. We had the New Day versus the Hurt Business. Hurt Business getting the titles.
I like the Hurt Business.
I'm a big fan of the Hurt Business. Like individually, those wrestlers didn't do it for me. Together, that awesome. And MVP kind of leading that pack ever since they've been together. Love the entrance, love the gear, love the swag. One thing I do want to talk about from last week's Raw, and then you saw it again kind of this pay-per-view. Did you see last week on Raw, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, where they had that guy in the back, that production guy, and then they put milk all over him?
Yeah.
And then Bobby's just like, he's getting it all over himself, like on that suit. I'm like, all right, so that's cool. And then on the pay-per-view, he comes out to join his crew out there after they win the titles, and then he's hugging them. They're all sweaty. I'm like, these guys just must have endless suits because they don't look like cheap suits. But
yeah,
I'm like,
I think, well, they're showing that they have the class, man. You know, the money.
It ain't nothing.
They're swagged out, but then they can also beat you up too. So, you know, money is not a thing for them. You know, they come out looking nice, and then they'll go ahead and knock you up beside your head too, exactly. or pour milk on you.
I was laughing.
Go out and buy another suit. It's nothing.
And you could tell Bobby was like, what the hell did I just do? After he did it, and then it moved on to MVP talking, he looked off to the side and was trying not to laugh because he's like drenched all in milk. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
I gotta get this. We gotta get this suit, Clint.
Right. Well, he came back out later on in the show, and he didn't have he just had the vest on. He didn't have the full thing on, so it's probably dry cleaned or something.
But back to that comment you made about the Hurt Business and how the individually they weren't doing it, but as a group it's working. I mean, they were pretty much they were like jobbers in a sense. I mean, Shelton was practically ever on TV. Bobby was in some weird angle with Lana as like the side dude, still in the wife from from Rusev at the time, and Cedric Alexander. Exactly. So I mean, look at them now, man. You have United States champion, you have tag team champions. Dude, the MVP was the best thing to happen not only for the Hurt Business, but also WWE as well.
I agree 100%. It's a great stable, and I don't want them to break apart anytime soon. You saw a little bit of there with Shelton getting tagged out of the match by Cedric, so there was a little maybe some future tension there, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, big fan of the Hurt Business. That's a great storyline. I want to keep that one going.
Maybe you want to go buy a suit.
Yeah, right. Now I just want to be
there, right? Y'all might see me with a suit on. It'll be just the top part, just the right, just the jacket.
Then we had speaking of bad storylines, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler defending their title versus Asuka, and the return of Charlotte Flair. That was a nice surprise. Asuka and Charlotte Flair picking up the tag team titles. Asuka two belts. Shout out to Becky, 2 belts from back, and they actually pause. Congratulations to Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch having their baby. So. But
they had the baby on my birthday.
So your birthday buddies with their kid.
I am. That is a blessed baby.
That is a blessed baby.
That is a blessed baby. December 7th. All right.
That is awesome.
But yeah, congratulations to them. First child, right? I think it's the first. Yeah. That's their first.
So I'm excited to have her come back eventually. But great to see Charlotte back. She is in phenomenal shape. Not that she was before, but she is in great shape. So 6 months out, looks great. The other thing is, I know you're a fan of Nia Jax. Me personally,
that's my baby.
I can't like any storyline. I don't know. I want Shayna Baszler to go back to NXT and when she started in the main roster, where she's just that badass and she's in there and she's there to kick butt and she can have those great matches. Whereas now I feel like she's just playing second fiddle with Nia Jax. So what's your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you on that. I think both of them need to be singles competitors again. Both are my powerhouses, in their own individual field. And Nia, I mean, when you think about it, no one can really touch Nia. I mean, we got to have someone that can bring it to her, and I don't see anyone really on the roster that really could do that. And if WWE was, thinking straight and on how to use Nia, they will make her like the Brock Lesnar for the women's division, or like a Braun Strowman of the women's division. That's how I would book her.
You know who should take that role that you just said?
Who?
Miss Raquel Gonzalez from NXT.
For NXT. So
that
bring her up.
Yeah, her feuds with Rhea Ripley. We'll talk about that in a minute when we talk about NXT. But man, that's a star born. But
it goes into like who. I mean, because at this point, it goes back to where the women's division is like a stalemate right now. So we got to start bringing some more up, onto the main roster.
Yeah,
and Nia Jax is known for hurting people. So
not the good hurt.
Not the good hurt. So, but you can play on that. Bring some people that can. I'm saying bring some people that can actually be more physical with her. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, you're right. So if we get Raquel, we get Rhea Ripley up there, that'd be great. But
or just call me up. She can hurt me. we can. I was out.
No, so I think that brings up another point, though, is this NXT call-up. I personally, I don't trust anyone being brought up anymore to that main roster.
Absolutely.
They just die, and they become mid-card or they become jobbers, and it's I don't see it. I mean, you go down a full lineup of look what they're doing with Ricochet, even the ones they just brought up with
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee looks like he's about to get a good push, so I'm excited.
Yeah, but it was going up and down. It was going up and down.
And then Retribution, the ones they just brought up, and they're all getting beat left and right, where they're supposed to be this big thing. And I'm like, I don't trust anybody.
They need to get rid of that, bro.
Yeah, and I don't blame the NXT stars for not wanting to come up, right? Because they see how everybody's being utilized. Look at Shinsuke Nakamura. You got this international superstar, and he's relegated to a tag team where he's a single competitor. Yeah. I get they have their flaws or things that they aren't good, but go with the Paul Heyman approach of accentuates the positives and hide the negatives, right?
Let's say if you're an NXT wrestler, then what goes to your mind knowing you're scared to go to the main roster because you know that you'll probably be underutilized, but then you want to make it big stream. So, I mean, what do you do? What goes to your head?
Well, that's the thing. It's a catch-20. You can do it, but then you're getting more shine down in NXT on TV than being used as someone chasing for that 24/7 title, right? Just running down the ramp, right? Or are you going to be on TV and actually have matches and do what you love to do, right? So I get it. You get a little more fame, you may get that little extra pay.
I agree with you on that part, but I think every wrestler still wants to become a big star. If that's not your dream to become a big star in the business, what are you doing?
So are you saying
why are you there?
Is that's the big star?
I mean, who settles for not being on top? Come on, dude. If you was a wrestler, you telling me you never wanted to be the likes of a Stone Cold, The Rock, all of the other wrestlers that you were seeing on TV? Absolutely. No one says I'm going to become a wrestler to only be mid card. My goal is to be a mid card, lower card wrestler, but I want to have fun.
And that's what's proving my point. There is you're saying. Right now in this state, I would not want to come up if I'm hitting it big. If I'm Gargano, I'm Ciampa, I'm down there in NXT and I'm owning it. You're Priest, all of those guys, right?
Yeah.
And NXT, and then see what your peers have done and what's going on in the main roster where storylines aren't even built. You have maybe 2 solid storylines and everything else is just put together really quickly day of. I mean, half these shows aren't even completed by the time the show starts. Some are being changed on the fly, right? So. It's like I personally would let me stay in NXT until something changes and keep getting my viewership, my merch, and all that stuff going in NXT, and then eventually, obviously, try to go up. Or
how it works with NXT as far as with merch. I mean, is the contract the same as when you're on the main roster of like Raw, SmackDown?
I'm assuming it's similar with it's built into your contract, right? You get some of that.
I mean, because think about it. At the end of the day, this is the developmental brand, right? How much could you be getting paid as the developmental brand?
Not so much anymore, though.
Exactly. So that goes back to my point. Do you want to have fun or do you want to make money?
But it's not developmental anymore. If you think about it, I mean, you're actually bringing top talent from the main roster down, right? So Finn Balor going back down, they're actually trying to make this legit, which makes sense, right? They're trying to compete with AEW. Which, side note, this NXT cannot compete with AEW. Production value, everything.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that, Nilo. I think, I think people. I think when we go back to like the Finn Balor and all them, they're going to NXT because there's nothing for them to do.
That's my
roster.
That's my point.
They're bored. So but here's the thing: they didn't have anything else to go to until now.
That's what I'm saying. So why would you? I don't want anybody to be moved up. Why at this point?
Well, I mean, yeah. So, I guess in a way, I get what you're saying. Okay. So, okay, fine. Why would they do it? But that goes back to the issue. The issue is WWE right now and the creative. Like, these wrestlers want and have the talent to be mainstream, but then you don't want to make them mainstream,
right?
Because the company is going to, not use them correctly, which is going to hurt their brand. But at the end of the day, I'm a wrestler, and my passion, of course, is to be a big superstar. But I'm scared to do it because I don't know what you're going to do with me.
Exactly, and that's the fear, and that's where I'm like, I would personally, I'd stay in the in NXT, or I mean, you see what everyone else is doing, right? You jump ship, not anymore too much because that AEW roster is pretty overloaded, but
and that's why we're stuck with these horrible storylines.
Right.
We were just talking about with WWE.
So back to the topic.
I know, right?
Let's round off this TLC and then we'll move.
This was like this just real quick. Just answered our question. Miss Deontay said that the lowest someone can make $750 a week. Wow.
There you go. Okay. So let's talk about Reigns and Owens. That ladder match, obviously, it actually became a 2-on-1 with Uso coming into the mix. But I thought it was a pretty solid match overall. I mean, it continued the story of Reigns. What do you think about this whole storyline with Reigns being the head of the table, the chief, and all that stuff?
This was the Roman Reigns we should have had years ago.
Yep.
They should have made Roman Reigns a heel when was it? When he won the Royal Rumble? Was it? I think that's when the fans turned on him.
Yep.
That was a missed opportunity by WWE. They should have kept him as a heel. The Roman Reigns we see now, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. I'm the head of the table, this Samoan tribe, thing. Like I like it. I like it a lot. I think that's also showing us what his cousins have, the Usos. Well, Jimmy for now. But yeah, man, if they really, really sit back and play this correctly, it could be huge because you can bring, the Samoan dynasty. You have that whole Samoan background is huge and has been part of WWE for years. I think since the beginning, since they've been out there. So imagine what you can do. But I like it. And I think this is going to lead to where they're trying to do a Roman Reigns versus The Rock. Because at this point, who can actually handle Roman Reigns right now? He already went through every guy on the roster.
Yep.
Right.
I agree. I love it. It's a great storyline. It's one of those things where you've shown you can do it with this guy.
Right.
Can't you just develop actually good storylines for the rest of the roster? So, no, he looked strong when he came back. He much better shape. Again, not that he was in bad shape. He just got really lean and cut. Looked great. Everything in terms of the storyline. Paul Heyman, can't say enough about him and what he's able to do. He's a great accessory per se for Roman Reigns to have on his side. And then involving the Usos involved in it when his brother comes back around February, injury, who knows what this will be like, right? And that's actually right around time, right after the Royal Rumble. So who knows what's going to happen with them, tag teaming or something, or what may be. But lots of exciting things, and I agree. Something they have to at some point, maybe WrestleMania or sometime down the line. They got to do something.
Well, if you ever checked out After the Bell podcast with Corey Graves, he had Roman Reigns on there, and Roman made the comment that what he's saying as far as the roster right now, no one has stepped up to the plate as far as being that guy, that face of WWE. So he had to come back. Now that he's back, I don't see anyone that's left to really step up and take it to Roman Reigns unless you bring in, which I'm hoping, I don't know if it's going to happen, The Rock. I mean, maybe he can get some time off from the 27 movies that he's working on right now, and the tequila and all the other stuff. So hopefully they can get The Rock versus Roman Reigns.
Shout out to The Rock, man. He capitalized big on this WWE thing. You see Cena trying to do the same. It's
everyone's trying to follow in his footsteps.
Absolutely. All right, and then
I'm sorry, I just had to make this comment about The Rock. Did you see how he announced that he had COVID, right? Him and his family had caught COVID, and then the next damn day, this man ripped off the security gate at his place. Did you what?
He couldn't leave. He had to leave. It wouldn't open, so he broke it.
So The Rock just ripped off a security gate.
Rock,
like, bro, you just had COVID. Like,
oh man, did you hear that stupid joke about The Rock?
What?
It's how did The Rock know that his family had COVID?
How?
Because they couldn't smell what The Rock was cooking. I heard over the summer. I'm like, that's a dad joke for sure.
That's crazy. Did The Rock tweet that out himself?
I don't know. Someone told me, and then I saw it online. But
that's something he probably do. The Rock can talk all types of smack and make a joke out of everything, and it's The Rock, so you don't take it seriously.
True. Let's talk really briefly about NXT. So in terms of, we just had the War Games, great pay-per-view overall. Lots of injuries coming from that one. So Bobby Fish is out with his, I think it was his tricep. He got injured there. And
that hurts. That hurts a lot. A tricep injury.
Yep.
Never had it, but I heard.
you were lifting out.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? Let me Google what this would feel like if something bad was to happen. If I work out and just tear something. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, that hurts. So now I can talk about it. Like, yeah, it hurts.
Oney Lorcan got a pretty stiff chair to the face. And then he's back though. And then the only notable one out as well is Candice LeRae is going to be out for a little bit with her broken arm. So Dakota Kai's out for injury. It's more of she's having some visa issues, so she hopefully will be back soon. But other than that, overall great show. Love to see the integration. Pat McAfee, he's this, love him as a heel, and really impressed with his work in the ring. Right, he did some somersaults. He did a that swanton off the top rope. One thing I do get your opinion on this, right? So when they're filming these spots, right, jumping from top ropes, and you obviously have the wrestlers down there to catch them, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why we haven't figured out the angles where you can just have it. I know you want to get that wide angle so you can see how far apart they are, but nothing irks me more than when you're sitting there and you have everybody kind of pretending to hit each other and they're all just looking up, waiting for that impact to come. It's like either fix the angle where it's literally you just have it on them the entire and then at the last minute you switch it, right? So you can see it. But it hurts me when they're just like sitting there like
like I'm ready. Okay. Or what's even worse is if they're falling on the wrestlers falling onto a group of talent and they don't connect to and hit everyone, but the person that's on the outskirts of the group, like on the outer part, somehow they caught the impact as well, and then they just have to fall out. That irks me as well. Like, bro, he didn't even touch you.
Just fall.
It's like, yeah, it's like, it's like, dude, it's like, Like, bro, get back up, get in the ring.
And then you see the Mad Dash reps going there to check everyone's hands, making sure everybody's good today.
But I think, to your point, I think it's sometimes that's kind of hard to catch because I don't know if the camera crew know play-by-play moves that are going to happen. So it's like they're trying to catch it at that moment. Where if you have people working the switchboard, as far as with the camera angles, they're probably seeing something about to get set up. So it's like, okay, let's cut to that. But then depending on how long it takes for the wrestler to complete the move onto the whoever, I guess they feel like, okay, we got to catch the angle from when that person's going to jump off and then hit the wrestler. Which sometimes they catch it. It's a hit or miss, and sometimes you see things that you probably shouldn't be seeing. But I don't know, man. I think that's probably a hard thing to do.
It is, and I don't pretend to know much of production. I mean, I went to school for some of that stuff, but in terms of Kevin Dunn with WWE film director, it's been a thing for a while where it's like chill out with those zooms and the going. That's like things that give me like a zoom when the people are getting hit with the chairs and stuff.
Yeah,
like, relax. But it's gotten a little better, but still some stuff to work on. But they get paid billions of dollars, so I'm not going to judge their work. So it is what it is.
I mean, So it was good, that match. I mean, the match is War Games period is a very brutal match. So shout outs to them.
Oh, what else made me popped was Io Shirai putting on the garbage can over her from the top of the cage and then jumping out. Great spot. That was hilarious. But like I said, overall, great pay-per-view, some great matches. We got some new feuds out of there. So I'm excited to see what's coming up. We got a couple people coming back as well into the roster. So overall, some good stuff coming up with NXT, some new stars being born. But we'll kind of dive into that next week when we're talking through our shows. But want to move on to the biggest news, obviously, to hit the wrestling world. Happened at AEW with Sting coming back, right?
Yes, sir. The Stinger.
Thoughts?
Well, that was a big blow to WWE, honestly. Last time we saw Sting on TV, it was the WWE Hall of Fame, right? When he went into the Hall of Fame, he said he was done with wrestling, don't want to do it anymore. He wanted to retire with WWE, but then he comes back and he's with the competition. If that's not a kick to come on.
Well, here's my thing. I don't blame Sting because I don't feel he was treated right at WWE.
Absolutely not.
Into the Hall of Fame, but you take a look at WrestleMania, losing that match. That I don't see why that.
I don't know why they didn't give us Undertaker versus Sting. Both of them were active wrestlers at the time.
Yeah, poorly managed, and AEW capitalized on that big. If you think about it, so Sting is a wrestler. I don't want. He's old. Let's just be what it is, right? He's in his 60s. He's broke
60-year-old bones,
busted up everywhere. The face paint hides a lot of that, so you can't really see wrinkles. But I don't think he should be wrestling.
See the wrinkles.
Yeah, right. You should maybe some punching here and there, using the bat and stuff, but more AEW I think is smart because they now have Sting, so they can use a lot of his stuff for merchandising, right? Talk about the action figures, the video games, all that. Now you can use Sting, so he's under contract for a couple years, so it's going to be interesting to see what they use him for. But again, I just don't want this to be a thing where he's out there wrestling because his body can't take it.
Do you think he's going to wrestle?
I think they'll put him maybe in like short matches or put him in a tag team match where he's kind of on the apron and comes in here and there. But again, he shouldn't be taking bumps at all, man. His body's messed up. So that's my opinion. Who knows? Maybe they've gotten better, but it was great to see huge pop when the words came up and Sting came up there. Even I guess wrestlers didn't know about it. And they're over there popping like crazy. So.
I mean, not only was that huge for having Sting, but also for the wrestling industry, period. I mean, that took the ratings for AEW to the next tier, to a whole nother level, where it was like if WWE was not paying attention, oh, they're paying attention now.
Right.
They're definitely paying attention.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. AEW is breaking a lot of boundaries, and it's see the talent that is coming from WWE. I mean, personally, last time we saw Cody Rhodes, he was in Stardust, right? Not utilized correctly to his full potential. You bring him into AEW, he's an EP, which we'll talk about in a minute, but he's a superstar, right? You see the potential that these guys have. You see John Moxley, what he's doing now, champion. Or that long reign he had, but even other guys, right? So Pac coming over, and now he's hitting the big time. Miro, formerly Rusev, doing his thing. So I'm loving. I think my favorite ones to come over, and I was pumped about it because I'm a big fan of tag team. Was FTR coming over from WWE? That was huge to me, and I think that is going to increase. And you see the depth of AEW's tag team division.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It is.
And that's an art form that WWE can give two craps about, and you see it. I mean, look at the WWE tag team belts. I think those are the crappiest belts on that in wrestling. Period. Maybe the 24/7's crappier, but I think that tag team wrestling is an art form, and AEW fully. Formerly FTR, obviously formerly known as the Revival, but they're great. Those matches they've had with the Young Bucks, all that, and the matches they've had are just great. But what do you think about AEW? So we talked about them being EPs, right? So you have the Young Bucks being the EPs with Cody. What do you think of that?
I think they're doing a phenomenal job. I think at first, you touched on the wrestlers that came over from WWE. So that says a lot of how, where we mentioned talent is being mismanaged at WWE and underused and not used correctly, period. And for them to come over to AEW, you're able to see their true talent and what they can offer. AEW, what they do a phenomenal job is allowing not only independent artists from all over the world and other promotions, but also current talent that were on WWE who did not get the opportunity to truly shine, come over and blow us away.
Sure.
Like Cody, for instance, like you said, he was Stardust. He was, I don't know, what was he, like a mysterious superhero? Or I don't even know what was Stardust. I don't even know, but it was some gimmick or whatever. Right. He comes over to AEW, helps, starts the company. Now look at him, man. This man is an executive and doing a phenomenal job. Now, there was a period where I was criticizing AEW as far as like the executives for what I felt like they were pushing themselves onto us. Like, hey, I'm executive of this company, so now whatever I couldn't do and get in WWE or wherever, I'm going to do it now here. Like, you're going to see us all as a champion. I'm going to be the champion of this and all that. And I was like, I started to feel like that's where they was going into that direction.
Sure.
But they played it safe. And, I think they've I don't know. I think they have continued to blow us away as far as with the creative that they have, which allows the talent to create their own creativity for their characters. And I think they're doing a phenomenal job. It's fresh. It's something new. At times it's not even predictable. So I like AEW, man. I think AEW coming along is waking up WWE and forcing them to get their crap together,
right,
and try to wheel back in some of those fans.
And I agree, and that's where I think the WWE needs to wake up on that aspect. And not only are they seeing it now with their competition, but the quarterly reviews with you have the stockholders now asking questions, what's going on with storylines and all this, and that's when Vince turns on the thing. It's like, all right, well, let's try something new. And out of that came Retribution. Obviously, out of that came was that Monday Night Raw Underground, which cool. But they're starting to feel that pressure, right? But now they're also getting the pressure from the competition. So it's great to see, and I think it's great for wrestling in general just to see everyone step it up. But I agree with what you said in terms of the EPs, right? When this first launched, that was my fears. They were going to push themselves. But I do respect how they did it, right? So if you think about who they needed to put the title on, it had to be Jericho, right? That's a face everyone knows. So it made sense to put it on for that time and then put it on Moxley. I like that idea as well. It's just now we're getting into Omega. Obviously, Moxley's going to be out for a little with his having a child. But Omega taking the reins, I think it makes sense. It's another known.
It does make sense. Especially for what they're doing right now with him taking the title.
Exactly. And then you have the other portion. The Bucks just got the title, but they're also putting over a bunch of new talent, which is phenomenal to see over there. So I like how they're approaching all this. And then Cody taking the TNT, and now it's Darby's. So overall, I think that, to your point, they've done a great job so far managing it and waiting their time to get these things going. So But I want to talk about lastly here the Omega Impact.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about that? How do you feel about him being in that promotion, cross promoting some of those things?
I knew it was going to be good once he changed up his entrance. That cool entrance that he now has.
Sweepers.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, with the
from North Carolina.
Yeah, that is awesome. This is huge, dude. I mean, you have cross branding happening between AEW and Impact Wrestling. I think that is a very how can I put this? It's a very lucrative idea, and that can open up the endless possibilities as far as feuds, matches, because now you have talents that we've never heard of or never paid attention to, now moving towards on the likes of a more major brand, and you can have all types of matches, and you can play around with it, and I think that's going to be enticing to people that are under contract right now with WWE, especially the NXT wrestlers. I don't know how long their contracts may be, but you got to look at it. I mean, this is huge. I mean, then you have New Japan that's probably going to be coming along as well, joining in on AEW. I mean, I don't think this has ever happened before, right?
Right.
Never.
It's always happened in the indies, but you never see a big promotion like AEW is getting to be that big promotion where they're sharing. But again, I agree. I love it.
It reminds me of like when you play the video games and you know how you have a WWE game, but you have wrestlers on independent circuits or WCW, whatever the case may be, and you want to create them so you can play like a WCW wrestler against a WWF. Now you have that happening across multiple brands. So with AEW going this route, this is a shakeup for the wrestling industry, period.
Yep.
And I'm all for it, dude. All for it.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think the portion of Impact, obviously this is going to benefit Impact more than it benefits AEW from a viewership standpoint, right?
I now know how to watch Impact on
period. So that's in that audience. So they're getting all of it. AEW is not getting much of a rub on it. They just, obviously, to your point, they get the talent. Maybe if they get some of their video,
they're getting the numbers. They're definitely getting the numbers off of this.
Right.
Like their numbers now are really, because at first they were competing against NXT as far as viewership. Now they're closing in on Raw and SmackDown viewerships. So it's definitely something in there for them.
And that's why I said earlier, NXT, you can't compete with AEW anymore. AEW is competing as a major brand with Raw and SmackDown now with the numbers they have. So
I think it's safe to say NXT is now competing with Impact.
No.
Yes.
NXT is still way above Impact. You can't mention this.
Well, okay. Well, I'm saying with the help of AEW. Like honestly, I don't even watch Impact. Look, let me tell you, I had to Google how do I watch the show.
There's a reason for that.
Obviously, but they did close in on the 900. What was it, like 900 some thousand?
Yeah, well, yeah, because Omega's.
I know. That's what I'm saying. This is huge for them. If they can keep that going, they're competing against NXT.
I don't know that they'll be able to do that, but hey, you never know. My thing with Impact, you have a couple people there. The women's division in Impact is huge, and AEW could definitely benefit from that aspect. But overall, it's exciting. It's great to see. And Impact and New Japan don't have a good relationship from the past,
Really?
but no, because of Chris Jericho. Wow, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe they can amend that relationship.
Yeah, so you have the Bucks and you have Omega. All of them still have a great relationship with New Japan, so all of them can help mitigate that. And now you have Impact and all of those promotions working together, right? And that's again, you see any NWA doing it with the women's title and all that. So there's plenty of opportunity. It's just great and refreshing to see a promotion that's open to doing things like that versus just secluded on that portion. So
exactly.
But as we wind down here, coming up on the hour here, Mo. Just overall, what do you think of WWE? Just really quickly, storylines. What do you think? And I know you've had some connections on this. What do you think would help storylines right now? What's some things that you think would improve it?
Well, let me state the obvious. I think it starts from the head on down, and that's going to be Vince McMahon. I look, Vince McMahon, no one's going to doubt the impact and what this guy has accomplished and what he's brought to the world as far as with wrestling and sports entertainment. But this is a new era, this is a new age, and I think he has to understand that he's out of touch with what fans want now. I think he needs to bring in some younger minds to, understand what people may want, probably listen to the crowd. And for that, they need to buckle down and try to find some new some new things to spark up an interest, because you have this is the issue. AEW was able to take a legend in the game, Sting, that is, who was WWE's, thing, and now bring him over to AEW, and that was huge. If you bring back legends, don't overuse them. And I think WWE is having the issue with understanding. We love the Shawn Michaels, the Rikishis, the Godfather. We love them. It will be great. Like if you can like bring that excitement back to our generation, our age and older, that's great. But you can't do that when we see them every other month.
The special value that
the special value. Like when we went to the pay-per-view, I almost screamed, when I saw Shawn Michaels, right? Because I've always said I always wanted to see Shawn Michaels, live.
Right.
I used to be like that. I remember when Shawn Michaels would come back. I would be at home like doing my dance and all that to this song. But I have seen Shawn Michaels so often now. And he's used in things that don't even have anything to do with him. Like they want to do a contract signing, let's bring Shawn Michaels in. Like why? So I don't know what WWE can bring to us, to bring back some spark of interest. Because the thing now is AEW, they've been able to capture a lot of the fans who left and who stopped watching wrestling.
Right.
They know Sting. So they're bringing back some of those people, and they're willing to be like, okay, let's start. Let's look at this. WWE, I don't know what they have. I don't know what they can pull, from under their sleeves to try to entice and bring people back in. So to answer your question, what can they do? They need some type of spark, and that spark is going to be. We need something new, something that we haven't seen before.
Sure. I agree. It starts from the head. So Vince, it's obviously no one's going to question his genius, but from his time in the industry. But again, a lot at a touch, and we need someone to step up. And Roman Reigns is a good start of that action, that spark. You have AJ Styles, who's amazing. You could continue to build off of that, and then learn how to utilize your young talent across the board. So
AJ is bored. I just want to throw that out there. AJ Styles is bored.
Yeah.
I know he's under contract probably for another year or two.
Yeah.
But I think I've made this comment before to you that at this state and age, if you seeing all these talents crossing over to AEW, if AEW signs 3 more major WWE talents, it's a wrap.
I wouldn't.
It's a wrap. And I believe AJ Styles is going to be one of them.
It's a definite possibility. I think you need to get better writing. You need to improve your divisions. You can't just have single competitors and start breaking up tag teams. You got to have a great tag division. You got to have a great women's division. Until that, they are a one-trick pony, and that's what's going to end them. So that's right at time, a little overtime here on the Ringside Hour. Yeah. Want to thank everybody for jumping on. Again, we'll be having 2 shows a week. Look into the description for when those shows will be, as well as what time. Definitely want to give a shout out to a couple of these comments. Ian Marco put out a comment here.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I know we're gonna go to the wrestling comments, but this was a question that needs to be answered.
Oh, I didn't read it. I'm sorry. What was it?
This is, if you can put together any custom Taco Bell mailbox, how would you build it? Shout outs to DOB, Dan O'Brien, good friend of mine. I'm happy you stopped in, brother. I'm always down to have a quick conversation about some Taco Bell. No matter what the topic, we can always have a question. We can always have some Taco Bell questions going there. Dude, let me just first chalupa. Throw a chalupa in there, bring in those Fiesta potatoes that they got rid of. Like, why did they get rid of the Fiesta potatoes? I know. I'm not going to dwell on it. We can take this conversation offline. I can definitely vent about Taco Bell.
We'll start next week with this topic.
Next week. Let's bring this back. Let's bring back the topic for Taco Bell. Yes. Let's talk about what they got rid of.
Right, Dan, join us next week. We'll get you that answer for sure.
But ask your question right off the back, Chalupa.
Shout out to Ian Marco. I agree with it. We should go live, and eventually we do want to get some interviews. We are planning to take this podcast on the road with us. We got some things that are in the hopper in terms of places we're going to go and meeting some people and getting some great connections. Mo is the celebrity whisperer, so he's got some great connections. So it'll be great to
for you.
Exactly. But no, thank you guys. Really appreciate the support. Please follow us at the Ringside Hour on Twitter. Like and subscribe once this hits Twitter here, probably sometime tomorrow. And then Facebook, please like and share. We love the comments and everything. So thank you everyone for the support. Mo, where can the people find you?
Yes, you can find me all over social media at OnePlusMo. That's OneMoePlus. Facebook. Maurice Lofton. Of course, if you want to look me up, follow me. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I'm on all the platforms. Catch me on there. Find me.
What about TikTok now?
Oh, and TikTok, dude. Yeah, dude. You can find me on TikTok as well. OnePlusMo. You'll probably even see me talking about Taco Bell on a couple of posts. So yeah, definitely follow me as well as at the Ringside Hour.
Absolutely. Definitely check out this man on TikTok. Hilarious videos out there. So, but yeah, thank you, Mo. We'll catch you up.
Where can we find you, Nilo? Like,
oh my bad. I apologize.
Can they find you, or you don't want to be found?
I don't want to be. I'm like our friend Chelsea. I don't want to be found. Shout out to Chelsea, by the way. But no, at the Ringside Hour, any questions or any things, please leave comments, things that you guys want us to talk about. In terms of topics and all that, we'd love to hear from you guys and get some opinions and stuff that you guys want to hear. So anything else for the people, Mo?
Yeah, go Lane Tech.
Go Nazareth Academy. We shot out high schools. What are we doing?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Murder and gold all day. I had to say that because this week I've been getting a lot of negative feedback about my high school from people. I want to call them haters. So I'm taking this opportunity to give my high school a shout out. So all the Lane Tech alumni out there, murder and gold.
And with that, guys, we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for joining.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.